evening, I'm Farhana Sheikh and this is AWANI Tonight. We are live here at Medan Selera Greenwood in Gombak to get to know the place and also its voters better ahead of G15. So to start, let's first get a snapshot of Gombak. Now, following automatic voter registration, Gombak will see more than 206,000 voters in G15. But who will they choose to run their constituency this term? Fei Kwan will give us the insights.
Thank you, Farhana. So if we look at the parliamentary constituency of Gombak, it can be broken down into 3 state seats, namely Sungai Tua, Gombak Setia, as well as Hulu Klang. And based on 2020 data, we can see that majority of the voters in this area are Malay, who make up 65.8% of all voters in the area, as compared to the Chinese at 21.5%, Indians at 11.1%, and then others at 1.6%. Now, diving into the electoral history a little bit, we can see the Gombak MP, incumbent Gombak MP Muhammad Azmin Ali, won the seat back in the 14th general elections with quite a large majority, commanding 63.1% of all votes back then. Of course, this is compared to Abdul Rahim Pandak Kamarudin of Barisan Nasional, who came in second with 22.17% of votes, and followed by Khairil Nizam Kirudin of PAS with the remaining 14.73% of votes. Now, Azmin won this time under the Pakatan Harapan banner, and he has been the incumbent Gombak MP for 3 terms, all of which he also won under Pakatan Harapan. This time though, we will see him contesting under Perikatan Nasional, and there will also be more contestants in the mix. There was initially supposed to be a 6-corner fight with Azmin's brother Azwan Ali contesting as well, but he pulled out at the 11th hour, leaving us with 5 candidates. So besides Azmin, we also have the current Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Syari, who is interestingly also Azmin's mentee, seeing as how Azmin used to be the Selangor Menteri Besar. Also in the mix, we have Megat Zulkarnain Omadin of Barisan Nasional, Aziz Jamaluddin Muhammad Tahir under Perjuang, as well as Zulkifli Ahmad, an independent candidate. So Farhana, it will be very interesting to see this GE15 for the Gombak voters. Will their candidate or the party that they represent matter more? Back to you.
Now, as rightly mentioned, Gombak will see a 5-corner fight in G15. 3-term Gombak incumbent Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali is in the running to defend the seat, now under a new ticket, Bersatu and Perikatan Nasional. We caught up with him earlier for his message to the voters of Gombak.
First, I would like to say that I accept all kind of challenge in Gombak in the next general election. I strongly believe this is part of the democratic process, and I hope all the voters, especially the young voters, will come out on the 19th of November to cast their votes. And the future of this country should be determined by the voters, especially the young voters and the new voters in Gombak. Inshallah, based on the track record that I had experience in Gombak, inshallah, Gombak will be retained by Perikatan Nasional in the next general election.
Candidate in the running for Gombak seat is Datuk Megat Zulkarnain Omardin for Barisan Nasional. He also shares what his aspirations are for the people of Gombak.
Saya faham apa cita rasa naluri rakyat Gombak, apa yang mereka hendaki dan apa yang ada sekarang ini. Saya fikir masih lagi banyak perkara yang mesti kita selesaikan untuk rakyat Gombak. Antaranya, pertama sekali yang mesti kita lakukan secara terus ialah kita tidak mahu lagi penghijrahan keluar anak-anak Gombak daripada bumi Gombak ini, dan banyak lagi perkara-perkara lain yang mesti kita selesaikan sebaik sahaja selesai pilihan raya ini berlangsung.
Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syahri will also be joining the race. This will be Amiruddin's first time challenging for a parliamentary seat. What will he bring to the table?
bertanya-tanya, mengapakah keadaan ketidakstabilan wujud dalam negara kita? Ketidakstabilan ini telah menghasilkan dasar-dasar yang tidak konsisten. Putar balik, naik atas, turun balik dalam keputusan PKP sebagai contoh. Tidak ada pelan daripada awal berdepan dengan pandemik, bagaimana memasuki fasa endemik. Hanya pada saat-saat akhir digubah dan dibentuk program ini, itu pun setelah MOU dilaksanakan di antara PH dan kerajaan yang sedia ada sekarang. Maknanya, kita perlu menjelaskan kepada rakyat bahawa kestabilan politik dan kestabilan yang telah yang sepanjangnya ada itu telah digugat dengan political maneuvering, dengan tindakan politik. Walaupun tindakan itu tak ada kaitan dengan mereka, tetapi kesannya ada kepada hasil-hasil serta polisi yang tidak baik.
We would like to dive deeper to really get to know the patterns of voting and possible outcomes for Gombak. We have with us political analyst Professor Dr. Wong Chin Huat. Thank you, Professor, for joining us. Now, all eyes would be on the fight between the mentor and the protege, Azmin, now under Bersatu, and Selangor MB Amiruddin. How do you think this dynamic will impact voters, especially PKR and PH voters who had won the seat for Azmin back in G15?
This comes back to the questions whether in Gombak, the national factor or the local or personal factor is more important. Azmin Ali has been the MP for 3 terms, and he now has support from PAS as well. You would assume that he can carry the 17,000 votes from PAS in the last election. But out of the 75,000 voted for PKR, how many of them would stay with him? How many of them would go to Amiruddin? But when you come to national factor, he would be disadvantaged because if voters are thinking about which coalition to form the next federal government, to lead the next federal government, the attention would be on PH and BN, not so much on PN. So he may not be able to get on that. Furthermore, Amiruddin is not only the Selangor Chief Minister, but he is also one of the adun under this parliamentary constituency.
I see. So this will be quite a tough seat with 5 candidates facing off each other. What about the other candidates besides Azmin and also Amiruddin, chances in wooing the voters, you think?
BN candidate Megat would have some chance to retain the UMNO base, but I don't think the other 2 can keep their deposits.
I see. Okay, so now talking about the seat here in Gombak, it's a mixed seat, but with a majority of Malay voters. There's 65% of Malay voters here if we look at the demographics here in Gombak. What kind of issues do you think matter to these voters?
I think everywhere, regardless of your ethnicities and so on, people care a lot about economy, on how to improve their livelihood. And also we need to see, after the introductions of automatic voter registration and undi 18, more than 50% of the voters here are below 40. So they would care about all those issues found in urban areas.
I see. So now the parties have already announced their manifestos with a slew of promises to win the voters over. How do you think this would impact voter support this time around?
Few voters would actually look at the manifesto and make comparison. However, if the parties use the manifesto to structure their campaign, to send a message through their ceramah and so on, then voters would pay attention on what specific things they can offer, whether it's a policy to overhaul the country economy or just some cash handout measure.
I see. All right, thank you, Professor Dr. Wong Chin Huat, for your insights. Now, Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, GRS, unveiled its manifesto for G15 today. Chairman Datuk Seri Haji Noor, who launched the manifesto, outlined a total of 13 points. Among them, it called for the federal government to allocate a deputy prime minister post for Sabah.
In the document, GRS said that Sabah will continue to pursue justice and political stability from Putrajaya and wants the federal government to appoint a deputy prime minister for the state. GRS also pledged to continue fighting for a 35% representation from Sabah and Sarawak in parliament. Hajiji, who is Sabah Bersatu chief, also pledged to provide more affordable housing, encourage youth in governance, and develop the state's economy through agriculture, tourism, and industrialization, among others. In Sabah, Bersatu is a component member of the GRS coalition. GRS and BN had agreed to cooperate for GE15, which saw them sharing the 25 parliamentary seats in Sabah. GRS will contest in 13 seats, while BN will contest in 12 seats.
The campaigning period is now in full force, but that has come with the damage or removal of flags and posters put up by contesting parties. Authorities are currently investigating several such cases in Kuala Lumpur and Malacca.
Police are probing a case involving Barisan Nasional flags and posters in Taman Tun Dr. Ismail, Kuala Lumpur. The case has been classified under Section 427 of the Penal Code for committing mischief and causing loss or damage. The offence carries a jail term of 1 to 5 years or a fine or both. Meanwhile, in Kampong Parit Kuari, Malacca, over 200 Pakatan Harapan flags have been taken down and thrown into the gutter. PH Kota Melaka candidate Ko Poi Tiong also said that 15 of his coalition flags were burned down on Monday, and police have opened an investigation into the vandalism. A poster of PKR Vice President Nurul Izzah Anwar was also defaced and torn in Penang.
Meanwhile, Perikatan Nasional PN Chairman Tan Sri Medan Yassin has denied going back on a promise made to Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS that PN would not contest in Sarawak. Medan said there was only an agreement that Bersatu would not contest in the previous state elections, not the parliamentary elections.
He said this in response to GPS Chairman Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg's criticism of Perikatan Nasional for breaking its apparent promise not to contest seats in Sarawak in GE15. Last week, PN announced it would contest 4 seats in Sarawak. Bersatu candidates Ali Biju, Jugah Muyang and Duke Janting are contesting in Saratop, Lubuk Antu and Bintulu respectively, while another PN component party, PAS, is fielding Hamdan Sani in Batang Lupar. Muhyiddin claimed that the agreement with Abang Johari was made before the Sarawak state elections late last year.
Before we leave you tonight, we want to hear your thoughts on G15. Here is the question of the day displayed on the screen. Have you read the political manifesto and offers from all the parties contesting? Let us know your answers. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen. The results of these questionnaires will be revealed daily. My name is Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching.